Dr. Madhuri to present the Honorable Vice President with a sapling on behalf of the Institute. I now invite our respected Director General, Shri Harpreet Singh Sir, to give the welcome address.
Respected Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, it is a great honor to welcome you to the special backlog course for OTs. Sir, you have always been generous and you have never refused our request to address the OTs. I had the opportunity to earlier also receive the Honorable Vice President when I worked as Principal Secretary to the Governor. Our Vice President is a statesman who commands respect from all sections of the population and all sections of politicians. He believes in simple living and high values. The values which he learned, he practices seriously and diligently. He is a man of great sagacity, wisdom, and he has played a key role at the national level in deciding the direction and the speed of transformation in our country. Sir, again, I take it a pleasure and an honor to welcome you to our function here. Today, we are celebrating the Parakrama Divas in honor of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. In India's freedom struggle, there have been innumerable people who have given their lives for the freedom of the country. This freedom has been bought dearly, and this freedom has to be preserved at all costs. Sir, we have 121 OTs from all the sections of the country, from Andhra Pradesh till West Bengal, sir, from A to Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, every state. Even we have officers this time from the northeast also, sir, Manipur, Sikkim, Meghalaya. We have 35 IPS officers, 32 Forest Service officers, and the remaining from the Central Civil Services. We have planned an important training program, sir. This time we are innovating in trying to teach them to collaborate with each other and work as team. Individually, all of them are excellent. They have cracked a very difficult examination which requires mental toughness, discipline, and a commitment to achieve results. Now these individuals need to work with other individuals because it is Team India, sir, that will propel India to the higher echelons of nations. I welcome the course team who are present here, who are all working together on this important course and other programs that are entrusted to us by the government. Of course, the OTs from different corners who have come here and who have shown exemplary behavior. I wish and hope, and I'm confident also, that the same exemplary behavior will be shown by all of you throughout the rest of the program, and you will continue to shine like a star in the firmament of India. Thank you, sir.
As sir has already mentioned, we are celebrating Parakram Divas today, the 125th birth centenary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose.
First of all, good morning to Honorable Vice President, sir. I want to begin by expressing our profound and heartfelt gratitude on behalf of Dr. Marichana Reddy Human Resource Development Institute to the Honorable Vice President, sir, for giving us time out of his busy schedule to grace this occasion with his august presence. Respected Director General, sir, Additional Director General, sir, Divya ma'am, our esteemed guests, and all my colleagues from All India Service and Central Civil Service, a very good morning. It is indeed a matter of great pride and privilege to get an opportunity to speak about Subhash Chandra Bose on this day. Today we are celebrating his birth anniversary as Parakram Divas. And if someone knows the life and journey of Netaji, there could not have been a better word to describe this day. Parakram means courage, and it is not only physical courage but also moral, mental and spiritual. And Netaji was an embodiment of all these dimensions of courage in its truest sense. Right from hoodwinking the British during his house arrest and taking a long arduous journey to Europe via Afghanistan and Russia, to the Battle of Imphal and Kohima, Netaji displayed his physical courage to the fullest. His submarine journey from Germany to the Asian waters amidst the fury of the Second World War shows his grit and determination. His decision to not join the prestigious ICS and resignation from the presidency of Indian National Congress to charter his own path showed his immense moral courage. And last but not the least, his indefatigable spirit to work for the youth and our country despite being expelled from Presidency College and multiple jail terms is a signature to his undying mental courage. In Indian philosophy, Tyag or sacrifice is one of the purest form of Parakram, and Netaji sacrificed all worldly material pursuits in order to achieve India's freedom. All of this were possible because Netaji had self-belief and conviction. And that is why when Clement Attlee was asked almost a decade after India's independence as to why British left India, unlike so many other colonies, very soon after Second World War, he said it was because of the impact created by the Indian National Army and Subhash Chandra Bose. Netaji was a true patriot and a visionary, and his dream of a strong, confident and harmonious nation is time and again emphasized by our Honorable Prime Minister when he speaks of a new India. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for a foundation course, and as civil servants, there is much to learn from the life and journey of Netaji. In our career, there will be many trying times, and in those moments, we should always take inspiration from the Parakram displayed by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. When we face challenges in our career, we should remember that there was this man who alone galvanized INA and out of nothing set up a free provisional government of India in Singapore in 1943. And it opened a new chapter in the fight against British imperialism. There will be times when our shoulders may drop, then we should think of the electrifying chant of the Jai Hind and Dilli Chalo, and how Netaji infused energy and led his team to work towards his goal. All of us chose this career to serve the society in a selfless manner, and Netaji led by example in this aspect also. Not many of us will know that he was appointed as the first Chief Executive Officer of Calcutta Municipal Corporation, and among the many things he did was to reduce his own salary by half. Such was his dedication to public service. He was a true disciple of Swami Vivekananda, and that is what is reflected in his love for our country and his fellow countrymen. As I conclude, I want to quote two lines from a song by renowned Bengali poet Atul Prasad Sen, which is also the anthem of our foundation course. How dharmete veer, how goromete veer, how unnoto she nahi bhoy. Which means be firm in your faith, be courageous in your action, keep your head high and never fear. As citizens, on the occasion of Parakram Divas, we should all try to imbibe these values in our character, and there is no better example of manifestation of these values than Netaji himself. The greatest lesson we can learn from Netaji is no barrier is insurmountable, and we should rise above all divisions and obstacles to devote ourselves to this great nation. Celebration of his birth anniversary as Parakram Divas is a perfect tribute to his legacy. Netaji once said to never lose faith in the destiny of India, and with his undying faith in all our hearts, I end my speech. I want to thank Honorable Vice President Sir once again to being with us on the first occasion of Parakram Divas. Thank you everyone and Jai Hind.
I now have the honor of inviting our Honorable Vice President to address the officer trainees and our guests on this occasion of Parakram Divas.
Sri Harpreet Singh Ji, Director General, Sri Benhar Mahesh Dutt Sikka, Additional Director General, Sri Tirupati Rao, and other members of the Marri Chenna Reddy Human Resource Development Institute, officer trainees from across the country, All India and Central Civil Services, my dear youngsters. Today is a very special day. We are celebrating the 125th birth anniversary year of the great son of this great country, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. The government of India has decided to celebrate his birthday as Parakrama Divas, to inspire the people of the country, especially the youth. This is a befitting tribute to Parakram or courage, was the most defining feature of Netaji's persona. Right from his school days, he was sensitive, sharp, and fearless. He opposed injustice in every form. No adversity could ever shake his determination to serve the motherland. He was a charismatic leader. You look at his face, see the personality. Even today, the people who have not seen, of course, Netaji, if they see Netaji in a picture or in a television show, they once become suddenly alert. The very personality of Sri Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose is such, it inspires people, patriotism, discipline, dedication, devotion, dynamism, 4 Ds. Driven by his patriotic zeal and being charismatic also, he is one of the most towering personalities of our freedom movement. Unbridled love for the motherland made him to resign from the coveted Indian civil service and return to India from England, where he was sent to appear for ICS exams. First, his top priority was to unshackle the motherland. That's why leaving ICS those days, it was not an ordinary thing. He was sent to England to appear for ICS exam. What is important to remember is Netaji's vision and a legacy for building a strong India. His dynamic and courageous leadership during the freedom movement will continue to be a major source of inspiration to the people of this great nation, particularly the youth. Netaji firmly believed that for India's progress, we need to rise above the caste, creed, region, religion, and consider ourselves as Indians first. You may be Bengali, you may be a Nagaland person, or you may be a Tamilian, Maratha, but first you are an Indian. This has to be remembered and practiced by everyone, irrespective of caste, creed, sex, religion and region. India is one. One nation, one people. That is the dream of Subhash Chandra Bose. His unwavering commitment to patriotism and nationalism not only brought people together, but also inspired them to join the Azad Hind Fauj. As far back as the 1940s, the soldiers of all castes, creed and religion lived together those days, ate together in common kitchens and fought as Indians first and last. This was possible because of the charismatic leadership of the great Subhash Chandra Bose. No wonder people used to call him Netaji, which means the respected leader. Netaji. Now you know Netaji means that people have different about some Netajis. Leaders, they should be respected, and respect cannot be demanded. It has to be commanded. Every leader of the country, in every sense, in every walk of life, they should remember this. By their talent, by their contribution, by their character, by their caliber, by their commitment, they should command respect. Not because he is something big, senior or senior leader or senior cadre, or because he is a senior ladder. Because of his character, caliber, capacity and conduct, he should command respect. This is what is required. See the crisis we have faced, the pandemic, unprecedented, and the problems that have arisen. And we have seen we are a big nation, 130 crores, so many states, so many parties, so many people in different vocations, but we were able to fight the pandemic better than so-called developed nations, wealthy nations. One, because of the leader. Second, because of the leaders at different levels, state, and we are a federal country, center, state, district, local bodies, but also officers from cabinet secretary to the collector. Everybody worked together. That is the Team India spirit we have exhibited. Right off of occasional political criticism and all. Okay, that is there in politics, and that too in modern politics. But It come to facing the challenge, everyone broadly has worked together. That's why we are able to come out of this. Of course, added to that is the people of the country. And also, of course, the warriors, the doctors, the medical staff, the sanitary people, the security forces, even the media, not lost the farmers. In spite of all these adverse conditions, the farmers of India have produced more than normal year production. In spite of these grave challenges, hats off to the farmers. They have shown to the world the record. They are fearless. So that is the greatness of this country and its countrymen. Coming back to the issue, what I am trying to say is leader. There is a saying, I don't know whether it's there in other languages, Yatha Raja Tada Praja. If the leader is honest, is dynamic, is hardworking, is disciplined, then he will be able to inspire the cadre of the people. If the leader himself is not committed or do not have that character and caliber or capacity, then he or she cannot inspire the people. That's what experience shows to us. So we need leaders. Leaders like Subhash Chandra Bose, fearless, courageous, dynamic, dedicated. He gave up ICS and came back to join the freedom movement. That shows how he loved the country. Do not bother about his individual happiness. In his public speeches, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose emphatically advocated the need for abolition of caste system in India. Then, now this appeal, the advocacy is more important because how the caste is playing havoc with the system particularly, and the politicians try to take advantage and then rake up caste, religion. Their reality, religion is there, but they are not, should not be the priority. That's why I say when you select and elect leaders, you must see 4 C's: character, caliber, capacity and conduct. But unfortunately in between, the other 4 C's entered. That is caste, community, cash, and then criminality. See, the public life is pollution because of this. So you need again to get back those original 4 C's. In every walk of life, not only in politics, even in selection, to courses, to the administration, in various walks of life. Time and again, Subhash Chandra Bose ji used to stress that progress of India would be possible only with the uplift of the downtrodden and the marginalized sections. Taking care of the poorest of the poor, that should be the priority. This is what has been said by Mahatma Gandhi, by Dr. Ambedkar, by Deen Dayal Upadhyaya, by Ram Manohar Lohia, by many leaders. And it's a challenge to all of us, be in politics or public life, in other works of service and all. Even after independence, still we have around 25% people below poverty line. We have illiteracy. We have social inequalities. We have gender discrimination here and there. We must, the youth of the country, the youngsters, they should all come forward to join a movement to fight against social evils like corruption, social discrimination, gender discrimination, injustice, and also poverty eradication, illiteracy. We are a great country. Once upon a time, India used to be Vishwaguru. Now you have still around 20-22% of the people who are illiterate. That's a challenge. These are the challenges. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, my dear youngsters, had a fierce sense of self-respect. One must not compromise on self-respect. There are innumerable examples right from his school days when he stood against injustice in every form. From school days, he had said, quote, "Forget not the grossest crime is to compromise with injustice and wrong." What a powerful message. Forget not that the greatest crime is to compromise with injustice and wrong. Everybody in service, everybody in public life, right from municipal councillor to chief minister to prime minister, everybody should remember these words. Forget not that the grossest crime is to compromise with injustice and wrong. Coming from a religious family background, Subhash Chandra Bose was deeply spiritual, was greatly influenced by the teachings of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda, and Sri Aurobindo, the great philosophers. His spirituality did not distance him from the problems faced by the countrymen. Spirituality does not mean total detachment from the public and then sitting and then doing some japa or tapa. Instead, he became a source of inner strength. Spirituality is to get inner strength. He developed an ethical approach to life. Spirituality tells you ethics, values in life. And his belief was based on sacrifice and renunciation, not mere pronunciation. Renouncing personal desires. They became the core democratic ideals of Subhash Chandra Bose. Netaji believed that for democracy to thrive in free India, our citizens must be imbibe the values of discipline, responsibility, service and patriotism. This is what Netaji desired. This is what is required even today. Every citizen must imbibe values of discipline. You follow discipline, then only you will be able to have a disciplined society, including following one-way traffic regulations, not bypassing the rules, being on time to the office, on time to the office. Responsibility, you must take up, accept the responsibility, you must be responsive. Service, share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. How do you get it? By doing some service, whatever service you can do. And patriotism, love for your motherland, love for your country, nationalism. Nationalism do not mean only say Jai Hind or singing Janaganamana or Vande Mataram. Jai Hind means Sabhi Bharatiyon ko Jai Ho. Jai Ho is possible and their needs are taken care. And they were fed properly. They have clothing. They have everything. They do not face discrimination. So that is why it's called as patriotism. There is a debate, sometimes people debate, what is nationalism? Nation do not mean geographical boundaries. Everything in the nation, their welfare is nationalism. My dear young friends, ours is a glorious civilization which embodies the values of share and care, and Vasudaika Kutumbakam, the entire universe is one family. That is the philosophy of which our forefathers has given to us. Netaji was proud of our civilizational values and our rich cultural heritage, which he felt formed the bedrock of our national pride and collective self-confidence. His self-confidence and determination are clearly reflected in the words when he said, quote, "Freedom is not given, it is taken." By freedom, Netaji do not mean merely emancipation from political bondage, but also equal distribution of wealth, the abolition of caste barriers and social inequalities, and destruction of communalism and religious intolerance. You love your religion, practice your religion, but don't hate others. That is the greatness of our civilization. If you are intolerant, you will not be able to move on, grow on. You have to be tolerant. And this great country has so many examples. You must be tolerant to the other's view. Some people will sometimes argue, no, only hear our view. Otherwise, we say you are intolerant. The government is intolerant, or this person is intolerant. They go on for a campaign and sometimes take it to international forums also. There is no country which is more tolerant than India. I can say openly that any country, any examples. And also we are such a great civilization where ordinary people, ordinary persons can become President of India, Vice President, Prime Minister, Chief Ministers. I come from an ordinary agricultural family. Nobody in my family were that much educated. I studied in a street school, but I could become the Vice President, the second highest constitutional authority in India, because of our Indian people's mindset and thinking and our value system. And we have so many examples like that. Prime Minister himself, the President himself. Subhash Chandra Bose said, the problem of giving bread to our starving millions, the problem of clothing and educating them, the problem of improving the health and physique of the nation, all these problems cannot be solved as long as India remains in bondage. This is what he has said. The physique of a nation is also equally important. Now we have learned lesson in this pandemic, physique. All youngsters, they must focus again on physical fitness. If you are physically fit, you will be mentally alert. If you are lazy, then you will become crazy. Mind do not work. Fitness is, that's why this yoga. Now, of course, it's not that the Prime Minister introduced yoga. He is stressing on yoga, but it was ancient Indian art, part of our culture. It brings unity of mind and body. So everyone must practice yoga in whatever form you like. Do some physical fitness. Exercise of your choice. So the physique of the nation, our ability to withstand, just recall the pandemic. Why broadly no farmer is affected by pandemic. No agriculture labor is affected by the pandemic. Affected means physically, not otherwise. Some people, they lost their livelihood also, and then government has to come to their rescue. Two reasons. I want to tell you all youngsters, because you are also going to deal with public. You have to guide. One is the physical fitness. They do a lot of physical activity. Second is the environment they live in. Air. Air circulation. is very important. You can sit without mask in an open place. That's why rural area, not many are affected. And secondly, physical fitness, they work hard. Some of us in urban areas, everything is closed. The car closed. In the office, closed. In the halls, closed. And then go home, they're also closed. Everything is air conditioned. Urban India also is conditioned. Openness. That's why I've been suggesting now. The other day, I was releasing a book on urban planning and all. Of late, I started stressing on the need for urban planners, architects and designers to keep air circulation. Air and light are very vital for human existence and healthy body and healthy mind. All institutions, residences must also have proper. Our system was, our Vastu, original Vastu, not this faked, not the one now everybody says, oh, this is wrong, that is wrong. You destroy, you dismantle this and you construct something, you will become. That is not connected with your wealth. Originally it was sun, light entering, air circulation, water movement, and public conveyance. These are the things that used to guide our architecture. We should plan. And also the comfort. The other day I was jokingly telling, I saw a house, newly acquired house of my daughter. And then I was going around the rooms. It was not constructed by her, it was constructed by somebody she has taken. So I went to washroom. The washroom, the wash basin. I opened the tap. The water is falling in the wash basin. Part of it was falling on me also. I said, what is this? They said, who has done this? There is one architect and also interior designer. I said, can you call him? She said, sir, she's a lady. I said, no problem, call her. She came later and she met me. And I told her, what all this? In a way, friends, see, those days there used to be one light in the house because there used to be light. Now most of the offices, most of the rooms and all see this also. 20, 30, 40 lights. Energy, waste of energy. And in most, if you happen to stay in hotels and you know the lights, they do not throw light. They are not bright. Even in restaurants also. I ask them, what is the reason? Sir, you should not see the originality of what you are eating. That's why. In a lighter sense. We have to revisit all this in view of the experiences. I told that she's an youngster, but I don't want to discourage her. So I told her, see, many things are good, but certain things. Think about the priority to be given to comfort or to aesthetics and fashion. I told her in Telugu. I asked her, did you understand Telugu? She said, yes. I said, Saukaryama, Saundaryama. Saukaryam means comfort. Saundaryam means fashion. About fashion, and not if it is not convenient to you, what is the fun of it? We should really think on these lines. Coming back to the issue of the living and then eating. Food also is one of the reasons. And we have such a great variety of traditional foods in our country, thousands of varieties, thousands. Each state is known for something special. I go around the country right from my student days as a student activist. ABVP activist, then later politics, MLA, state level, national level, Minister Rural Development, Minister Urban Development, Parliamentary Affairs, so many portfolios. I used to go around the country and used to eat in different houses and restaurants, and I saw the taste, amazing taste. But because of the TV and also branding, some of our youngsters are getting tempted to the junk food, pizza, burger. I am not ridiculing pizza, burger. They are good for those countries, for their weather. But for us, our own time-tested food, which is given by our forefathers, that is good. We must get back to that. The food habits also form part of your healthy nation. And I asked some of the youngsters, why are you crazy? What is this? Name, sir. Attractive names are given. Chicken 65. One chicken 65. Manchuria. I say, why you go after Manchuria? There is Himalaya in India. Bulgaria. Fashion. Something outside, something other than ours is great. It's all because of the foreign rulers, the invaders. They made you to forget your conscience. Go through the history also. The history was distorted by foreigners. The colonial rulers. I have a very strong opinion about this. And many people do not know the greatness of our scientists, our historians. Those days, Yun Song, Pahian, Chinese tourists, they came and they wrote about our country, Harappa, Mohenjo-daro civilization, Nalanda, Takshashila, Pushpagiri, Vikramasila, those seats of learning, those days and all. But the history was distorted, it was not properly projected. And our own civilization values, our own history, our own sacrifices, that's why. Now why are celebrating Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose? Not only in the colonial rule, even subsequently also some of the great leaders, their true life was not properly projected. That's why I have been suggesting to the minister, to all state governments and all, bring the life and the sacrifice of great leaders to the fore. Our history books must contain the sacrifice made by many. There are many not. We are talking about Subhash Chandra Bose today, but there are in every state, in every region, there are heroes, there are heroines. The people who made sacrifice, the social reformers. Yesterday I released a book, the poems written by Narayan Guru, a very popular social reformer of those days. Many people are there, from then to our recent times, but we have not done justice to their memory. And I am happy, that's why particularly happy that the government have decided to observe this 25th as Parakrama Divas. Parakrama Divas. This is to inspire the youngsters across the country, to tell them the sacrifice made by this great son of the great country. We have to celebrate the lives of many of our great leaders. And we have to come out of that colonial mindset. I am not saying if something good outside you can take it. But first of all, try to appreciate something good here. What is there in our country, in our leaders. Quotations also I see sometimes, most of the youngsters, they try to quote somebody. There is Swami Vivekananda, there is Arvind Ghosh, Mahatma Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Many great people are there now who made sacrifice. Shankara, Adi Shankara, Ramanuja, to many people who are born. We don't quote because they quoted, and then we think these are outdated and minds are insulated. That's why this is happening. We must really teach and educate our youngsters about the original contribution made by our people. And we must focus on improving the health of the nation, people, by improving their physique. One point told me, sir, what you are saying is good, sir, but this food is nowadays instant food, sir, instant food. I said instant food means constant disease. Try to understand this. Food cannot be instant, it has to be cooked. Whether man cooks it or woman cooks it, it's secondary. It has to be cooked, na? That's why disease resistance comparatively, by eating proper cooked food, by having proper sunlight. See, make study, serious study. Why California? Why one country? You call any other Western country, with all that, they are not able to face the pandemic in such a manner as here, because as I told you, people, their habits, their exposure, and second also, from time to time, guidance given, regulations imposed. Initially they will be difficult. So people said, what is this lockdown? If there is no lockdown, then we will be down. Regulate and guide people, and then move on. No opened up. Life should go on. Na? Life and livelihood has to go together. You can't totally live in a lockdown and insulate yourself. Insulation cannot be, or isolation cannot be consolation forever. You have to work. That's why the nation started moving. But one has to be careful. Wearing the mask, maintaining that distance. I don't call it as social distance. I call it as Surakshita Duri. Safe distance. Social distance gives a different meaning. Some practices are there. So wearing a mask when you are going and meeting people outside. And then maintaining that distance. Do not maintain distance with the people. This is in this context. He has given a clarion call to youth with his famous words, quote, "It is blood alone that can pay the price of freedom. Give me blood and I will give you freedom." That was relevant at that time. Now I am not saying give blood. Even now blood donation is good. It will take care of the needy people. Everybody should think in terms of donating some blood for the others. There is no problem about that. When Netaji gave the famous war cry, "Chalo Delhi," he told his soldiers in clear terms, "I can offer you nothing except hunger, thirst, privation, forced marches and death. But if you follow me in life and in death, as I am confident you will, I shall lead you to victory and freedom." This is a powerful message. He also promised his troops that he would be with them in darkness and in sunshine, both. In sorrow and in joy, in suffering and victory, he assured that I'll be with you. With this magical presence, he could enthuse and turn soldiers who were prisoners of war into freedom fighters in different parts of the globe. They became ready to fight till the last breath for their dear leader and for their motherland. How Netaji and Azad Hind Fauj captured people's imagination was evident during the trial of INA prisoners by British authorities. This trial stirred the emotions of all Indians across the country. Realizing this, the Britishers has to take lenient view of the INA soldiers. If you go through the history and archives and letters written by the various governors to the Britishers, to the Viceroy, Governor General, and then the Prime Minister, I think, Attlee, those letters, if you are able to go through the correspondence, it is the emergence of Netaji in the freedom movement and the INA, and the reports about the national spirit that's being created going through the trials. The increasing loyalty of Indian armed forces towards their motherland hastened the process of British departure from India. There is no exaggeration to say this. Of course, Mahatma Ji has led Satyagraha. He mobilized people, lot of people participated in that. But at the same time, different leaders, they approached the freedom movement in a different manner. Subhash Chandra Bose is one approach, mobilizing forces across the Asian countries and also building up an army to fight the Britishers. The progressiveness of Netaji's ideas can be gauged from his decision to form a women's corps in INA named Rani of Jhansi Regiment. Bose believed in giving equal pedestal to women in every sphere of life, be it social, economic or political. The same vision continues to be our guiding force. Even today, I am happy that the government have taken a principled decision, number of initiatives to bring gender equality, including the provision of permanent commission for the women in armed forces. Netaji was the firm believer that education was essential for character building and all-round development of human life. For meaningful education, he emphasized the need for a comprehensive system of teachers training the trainers. This is relevant even today. For India to emerge as an education hub and knowledge-based economy, we need to revamp the methods of our teaching and pedagogy. One question always bothered me: how did a handful of British officers rule millions of Indians for so long? Just think about it. The answer perhaps lies in the fact that we were not united, we were divided. And lacked in cementing spirit of nationalism. We lacked the feeling of togetherness. And this was the root cause of our subjugation by the foreigners. This has to be remembered. We should stay united. We are a young nation today. More than 65% of the Indian population is below 35 years. And more than 50% of our population is below 25 years. We have a demographic dividend. If you properly guide them, if you educate them, if you upskill them, they will do wonders. We are seeing how our youngsters are doing wonders across the globe, how they are able to lead multinational companies. Our doctors, they are immensely popular wherever they are working. In every field, you have seen the latest, even in American White House, more than 20 people were selected because of their wisdom, their hard work. It's not because they are Indians alone. You have Nadanda Satyas, you have Sundar Pichais, you have many examples. Because this air, this land, this water, this atmosphere has something special. But only thing is that you have to recognize the talent, upgrade the skill, promote the skill. This has to be done by the government and by the system in every sphere of administration. So, my dear friends, as I was telling you, we are talking about the youth to get inspiration from Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. As I was telling you, different leaders have approached the freedom movement in different manner. Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev, they have chosen a path. Subhash Chandra Bose, he has chosen a path. Bala Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Chandrasekhar Azad, Veer Savarkar, many people, different approaches. But ultimate goal was freedom, freedom, freedom. Now we must all work together to strengthen this freedom, to make democracy and freedom more meaningful. Freedom from hunger, freedom from exploitation, freedom from illiteracy, freedom from discrimination. All this. It will not come by giving slogans and shouting here and there and creating disturbances. By practice, by working steadily in eradicating poverty. Poverty levels are getting reduced. The literacy levels are increasing, but you have to move faster because technology. You are able to see what is happening. People are able to see what is happening around the globe. So they need development, faster development, holistic development. The Prime Minister has given a call for reform, perform and transform. Transformation of the nation for the betterment of the people, the research, the science, the administration, the technology. Everybody's aim should be to make people happy, comfort and happy. And you need to create a peaceful atmosphere. By addressing these issues, you will get more peace. Because peace is the prerequisite for progress. If you have tension, you cannot pay attention. So you must have a passion for service, whatever service you are joining. Passion. And take that as a mission. And remember that is a mission, not for commission. And do not do any omission or give any remission. Have the passion. This advice applies to all, including politicians. People. Everybody must have that passion to serve the people in a better manner, to make them happy. As Mahatma Gandhi said, you must see smiles on the face of the people. Smile, real happiness. It's not become a profession. You go to air hostess and then air hostess smiles at you. Real happiness and that expression will come when your minimum needs are fulfilled and you are happy with the services provided. So please, let us all work and let the inspiration from Subhash Chandra Bose's life inspire us in building a new India, happy and prosperous India, where every citizen gets equal opportunities, where there is no discrimination of any kind. I repeat the words of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose to the youth. He said, India is calling. Get up. We have no time to lose. As I told you, people's expectations are very high. My dear youngsters, I wish you all the best. You have a wonderful institute here, with all facilities in the heart of the country. You have a good weather also. Utilize this occasion and then achieve something more and then become something in the society and try to do everything to the opportunity provided to you. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your wise and inspiring words. Our officer trainees are fortunate to have got this opportunity of being addressed directly. I'm sure they will use your words of wisdom in whatever field they get into after this. May I now request our Director General, Harpreet Singh sir, to present the memento to our Honorable Vice President.
Honor the great name and life of Subhash Chandra Bose. It's a very solemn occasion and we are really honored to have in our midst today our Honorable Vice President of India, Sri Venkaiah Naidu ji. Sir, on behalf of everyone, I extend sincere thanks to you for coming and gracing the occasion of Parakram Divas and also addressing the 121 officer trainees who have come from 28 states and union territories for their special foundation course. Sir, your presence has motivated each one of us, and your valuable message has given us direction to serve our country, India, with commitment and sacrifice. As our DG sir has also said, our chief guest and our Honorable Vice President, Sri Venkaiah Naidu ji, has always been our guide, teacher and philosopher. And his strong message today that we all may come from different nooks and corners of this great country, but ultimately all of us, we are one, we are Indians. Sir is a very good orator, a very voracious reader, and also a fitness enthusiast. And he has given a very good message to all of us, especially the OTs, that all of us have to be physically fit, mentally alert, and also spiritually high. Sir, your message that life of Subhash Chandra Bose is a message for all of us, and all of us, we should imbibe the values from the life of this great revolutionary. Your strong message with regard to reform, perform and transform will really bring the desired changes in our country, which all of us we would like to see. Sir has also spoken about tasting everything. Taste the instant food also, but don't forget the Indian food, which is what our forefathers, they have passed it on to us. And as India today is having the demographic dividend in the form of young people, we all should realize that this is the time when India should again wake up and make multiple strides and progress in all walks of life in the world. I also take this occasion to thank our DG Harpreet Singh ji for encouraging all the participants with his message and giving an overview of the Special FC to our chief guest. I also extend my thanks to Mr. Ganguly, the officer trainee, who gave a great insight about the life of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. With this, I thank all the officer trainees, all the officers and staff of Dr. Mary Channa Reddy HRD Institute for making this wonderful arrangement and making today's program a great success. I sincerely thank each one of you, one and all. Thank you.